Charlie's army, and he made sure they understood the stakes.
And you made sure of that too, didn't you, Susie Wiles, the head of the White House staffers? Yeah. I'm on a hate-hate relationship with the White House staffers. Yes, all of them. And I support Trump, but I support no one in his cabinet or his staffers. Now, he would hate me for that, but he would hate me because I don't support Charlie Kirk either, which is why the White House staffers don't like me. But here's what I have to say, okay? And I think there's obviously a bigger reason that Donald Trump filled his entire cabinet and staffers with only Charlie Kirk loyalists. All of them are Charlie Kirk loyalists. All picked, hand-selected by Charlie Kirk. Why would Donald Trump do that to the American people? Why? Because, see, I recently sent an email to the White House. Well, I sent like 20. Because, well, I sent the first one, and it was basically saying that Charlie Kirk wasn't good for our country. It wasn't supposed to go to Susie Wiles or her staffers, but you know that even though you have contact president on the White House when you send an email, you know it's not going directly to him. It's going through people, and then he'll never get it. Especially, this happened the first term too. But I was emailing over something different in the first term. Something far more important. Well, I don't know. Maybe. So anyway, so the Charlie Kirk loyalists, they're just hanging out, making sure that Trump doesn't screw anything up too badly, because they're going to be like vultures to get a hold of that White House as soon as he's gone. And they're going to bring in all their young revolutionists. Yeah, it'll be JFK all over again. And JFK certainly didn't do anything good for our country. No, you're told he did, but he didn't. He's the reason we got Obama Jr. But it's not just that. So that's the reason they had Charlie Kirk going all over the country. He started in the high schools in Illinois. Bill Montgomery backed him. He's a former he's dead now, but he was with the Tea Party. Yeah, you know who else was with the Tea Party? John McCain. Mitt Romney. So, I've never trusted the Tea Party. So, but it was a bunch of big funders, and Charlie Kirk started out in the high schools. So when she says here that he has an army, oh, he does. An army of high school and an army of universities. So Donald Trump really needs to take that into consideration, you know, most especially like if you look at Nepal, where Gen Z overthrew the government. So much of the tone and some of the things said throughout this memorial, although I didn't listen to all of it, the pieces I did were making sure to let their army know what their assignment is. Yeah, because they've radicalized them. They have infiltrators within these student groups. If you read the JFK files, you can understand this much better. Because they're doing the same thing all over again, but on a mass scale. And they've been at it since 2000, well, before Donald Trump got in, since Charlie Kirk was 18. So this was fun. And then on top of it, I thought it was interesting that the guy that works at Turning Point said, oh, it was Charlie Kirk's first startup, Turning Point. Oh, startup, what an interesting word. We think it's just for the tech bros, but then when you're Charlie Kirk, you're in with the tech bros. Mm-hmm. But I'll get to that in a minute. So when you send an email to the White House, you should, within 30 to 60 seconds, get an email back saying it was received. So I had sent an email there like a week ago, not even, and I had said that even though I was sorry about Charlie Kirk or something like that, I said, he was radicalizing the right. This was before I knew that Donald Trump had embraced the radical right, which, yeah, that's, but again, there's a bigger reason to all this. It's the only thing that makes sense. So, after I sent that first email, I got a response, because you should always get a response, no matter how many emails you send. Within, an automatic that sends, we received your email. After that first one where I was saying, I wasn't a fan of Charlie Kirk, all of my emails were pushed into spam. The reason I know that is because I didn't get any more saying that it was received. So if you don't get the response back, they've pushed you into spam. Why would they push me into spam? Well, because, you can't say anything against the god Charlie Kirk or the false god Susie Wiles there will, make the people pay. Yeah. So see, this pisses me off. That's part of the reason I was really pissed off at Donald Trump, and still, I'm like this with him. It just depends on the day, because I don't want to live under this radical right shit. I don't. People think the radical right is better. No, if you have daughters, or you expect to have daughters, or you expect to have granddaughters, you do not want the radical right. You don't. Women, no, you don't. Because of Charlie Kirk's vision, which is what their vision is. It's just as radical, but on the right. Okay? It is. It's as bad as the left. So that really made me like, I'm done, Trump. Like, you sacrificed the moderate part of your base. So, I mean, I'm trying to understand that really with the 8 years that Charlie Kirk has been busy getting his army together, it's not like Donald Trump could just ignore that. I think Donald Trump's I think he's in the middle too, but he can't ignore that because it's an army. And, but I don't know how he's gonna, because there was a lot of undertone rhetoric in people's speeches, because every single one of those White House people, they're more loyal to Charlie Kirk than they are Trump. They are. I know. It's hard to believe, because, who the hell's Charlie Kirk? But it's more about their revolution. Mm-hmm. And the revolution really is, they just want Trump out, and they keep him, contained for the next 3.5 years, and then they'll get their youngins in. And they'll control those youngins, and it won't be a pretty sight for any of us. So that's what I think Donald Trump's he's contending with now. Or, he's watching. Put it that way. Like, there's a reason he's put all enemies, because I said he's put all enemies in his cabinet. I know everybody says, no, I like this one. No, they're all enemies, because God wanted Trump to do it that way. That's what I believe. Because, in the Bible, God oftentimes creates insurmountable situations so that then he can show his great glory. That's why I think he did it. Because otherwise, it's rude to the rest of us. Like, why would you let Charlie Kirk pick all of your staffers? But since day one, they got in, but they all infiltrated, just like tech infiltrated. But the key thing is that Kirk, with tech, TikTok, all of these platforms, he was in with them. But they all, like J.D. Vance, remember how he was praising Elon left and right? Like, that's what I hated about all of these juvenile boys, whether it was Vance or Musk or Charlie Kirk, is it's like they would never give Trump the praise he deserved unless they had to, but they were all praising each other. It's like, I don't know, is it a gay thing or something? You never know. It's all that Silicon Valley stuff. Not that I have anything against it, but it could explain why there's so many of these men that just, are on this far right that want to hurt, like, have bad ideas. Like Charlie Kirk had some crazy ideas for if he was his vision. His vision was crazy, and if you think they wouldn't have done it, oh, they absolutely will, because they're as radical as the left, except on the right. So he's in with tech. So and he is, because right before the 2020 election and the 2024, everybody that was on TikTok or any social media, you remember this. On your For You page on TikTok, there was nobody except Charlie Kirk. Every scroll, Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk. That's because he had an in with the tech giants and whoever was running TikTok back then. Yep. I think Trump knows it. It doesn't matter, even if he did. Like, these people think they're just going to divert any emails that are sent to him. No, these people are stupid. I've said this since 2020. No, somebody is gathering all of that and knows who's sending it. And I would imagine good old Susie Wiles, Trump knows who all of these people are. They just think, well, we're in his inner circle, so we know better. Yeah, no, I don't think you know Donald Trump very well. None of us really do, but he does have a tendency to praise all you guys, and then the next thing you know, oh, well, bye. So, it just seems to be the way things happen, because, well, in the end, God's will be what decides everything, Susie Wiles, and, well, you'll be seen for who you are.